While XRP is just ranging in the last month, we have been watching as more and more announcements are being made. A lot of these announcements are expansions around the XRP ecosystem, as well as expanding the utility for XRP as well. Now, the craziest part about all of this is that most people are still pretty bearish when it comes to XRP. They're still pretty bearish when it comes to the entire market right now because, again, price action is just chopping. We're pretty boring right now. Nothing's happening in terms of, the recent highs being broken. This is what XRP looks like. I've talked about it, right? It looks like we are in a major flag formation here, just waiting for a big break. And also, in terms of the actual market itself, I mean, today Bitcoin is hovering right around $113,000. Ethereum around 4,500. We're still watching Bitcoin closely for a major breakout because, this could be the start of a major recovery. And altcoin season still continues to rise in the index, 54 out of 100. But, I want to mainly focus on XRP here because for the last year, we've been talking about how XRP right now is extremely bullish because, again, the chart setup for XRP is just insanely bullish. Even if you look at this from a zoomed out perspective, you can see exactly what's happening here. We are just chopping, waiting for a big impulsive move to form on this chart. Just like we saw back here after we made that high in January and we just chopped and chopped and chopped, but this was an extended flag that just broke to the upside. And then we hit $3.65. Now we're doing the same exact thing, but it's on a lower time frame structure, which still tells us that we will see $4 plus on this next big break once it does happen. Now, what's supporting this? What's making XRP so bullish? Well, think about what's been happening over the last couple months, not just in terms of, XRP announcements, but also expansions around this market to support the use cases that are hitting the XRP ledger, like tokenization, payments, FX transactions on chain. I mean, everything that we are watching is supporting the original view of XRP, which was the internet of value anyways. But also, we continue to see more and more market expansion within crypto too. Like, for example, MBX.com listing XRP. You would think that at this point, almost every single market is covered with XRP. Well, that's just simply not the case. XRP just got listed on this exchange. And what's crazy about it is this is, a smaller tier exchange, but it's a Norwegian market, which we thought was already covered with XRP, but it's not. So we love to see more and more market expansion for XRP. This is just simply more liquidity, more trading volume, more, value hitting XRP as well. So this is great to see, and another listing in the books for XRP. Also, outside of that, the CME group is now saying that XRP future contracts have crossed over $1 billion in open interest. The fastest ever contract to do so took just over 3 months. There's already 800 plus million in futures based XRP ETFs. Think people might be underestimating demand for spot XRP ETFs. And big shout out to Nate Garashi for this because, again, this is somebody that's looking into ETFs, studying ETFs every single day. I do think almost everyone is underestimating XRP right now. I think everyone's underestimating XRP's performance so far this year, which is up 400 plus percent. But I also think that they're underestimating what XRP is about to do as well on the charts. But yes, when we think about CME Group and when we think about the ETFs, I don't think people are really prepared for what's going to hit XRP once those ETFs do launch in the US. This is going to be a very, very bullish time for XRP holders and for the XRP chart because if we're seeing this type of volume and this type of, overall demand from just CME Group, just think about what happens when all of these huge spot ETFs go live in the US, and these are like extremely known names, household names that are going to be launching these ETFs. We are going to see a massive tsunami into XRP just from demand and volume alone. But also on top of this, we have over here from Cointelegraph. This is the CME Group post. This is what they posted. So CME Group, Crypto Futures, open interest surges. Ethereum, XRP, and Solana hit major milestones. So just going off of those future contracts, we could see both XRP and Solana at 1 billion plus in just open interest. Also Bitcoin and Ethereum, 16 billion, 10.5 billion. We love to see this. This is incredible to see. But again, XRP hit 1 billion in just 3 months. I think everyone is overlooking how bullish XRP is right now. Also, almost everyone knows about XRP within and even outside of crypto at this point. XRP is becoming a center stage blue chip project in this space. It always has been, in my opinion, but now almost everyone is realizing it. And they're still underestimating what XRP can do. I saw this post come up on my timeline earlier today, and I really wanted to include it in this video because it really is facts. Like when we think about XRP and we think about all of the bullish things behind XRP right now, right? We have all of these phases. Phase 1 was ROUSD released. Then we got Trump's inauguration. Then we got Gary officially leaving the SEC. The XRP Strategic Reserve, which XRP is included in that. The Ripple case ending. It's done. Alt season is incoming. I don't think that it's necessarily already here. Ripple names big bank partnership. They already did with BNY. They already did with a ton of other banking players like HSBC, for an example. XRP ETF approval pending. And yes, the ETFs are coming. I don't think that anyone needs, me to tell them that. I think that this CME Group announcement alone is proof that the demand's there, the value's there, and the money's there. Right? If I was launching a spot ETF, I'm looking at XRP and I'm looking at what it did in 3 months and I'm thinking, all right, well, we can make a ton of money off of this. And that's exactly what these asset management companies are doing. That's what these ETF issuers are doing. We look at what BlackRock wanted to do with Bitcoin. They obviously saw the demand there. They saw, the opportunity of how much money they can make. And again, they're looking at XRP the same exact way. But also, we continue to see Ripple making moves as well, which supports XRP in my opinion. We're going to talk about that here in a moment, but look at this announcement. This is TazaPay. Big milestone for TazaPay. We've closed our Series B funding round backed by, and there's a ton of great names here, but Ripple is one of them. Now, if we're looking at Ripple backing TazaPay, what is TazaPay first off? Well, here we have the platform. So this is a global payment platform essentially, where you can make payments into almost the entire world, and it's all based around cross-border payments. We've seen this in the past as well, right? Like this is not new for Ripple. Ripple has backed a lot of these platforms, and the question is, what's the end goal here? Because we could see the stats: 173 countries, 75 plus instant payment methods, 7% higher success rate as well. I personally believe that Ripple Payments is going to be incorporated into TazaPay. There's no reason why Ripple would back this company if that was not going to be the case. I think that stablecoin initiatives will be backed by this, maybe even ROUSD integrated within this platform. But that's how I'm looking at this. But this is again another huge move to support what Ripple is doing. I think that these moves are strategic in a sense because I'm sure that, Ripple probably made a deal where ROUSD or even Ripple Payments was going to be tapped in. Either one of them supports XRP. ROUSD on the XRP ledger or Ripple Payments tapped in with XRP. This is a very big move. By the way, also Ripple Payments does include ROUSD as well. So again, it's a win-win regardless of what happens here for XRP. But on top of this, you guys remember that announcement going back to 2024? It was April of 2024. It was Ripple joins forces with Hashkey DX to introduce XRP ledger-powered enterprise solutions in Japan. Now, the first thing that we saw was SBI Group companies will be the first Japanese corporations to utilize solution in Japan. This was all built on the XRP ledger. Ripple, the leading provider of enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, has entered into a strategic partnership with HashKey DX, the Tokyo-based specialized consulting company of the HashKey Group, to introduce XRP Ledger-powered enterprise solutions to the Japanese market. Now, this was a huge announcement, and what's crazy about this is, read the first line here. HashKey Group has achieved significant success with its blockchain-powered supply chain finance solutions, which have been widespread adoption or have seen widespread adoption in mainland China. Now, what's interesting about this? Why is this so interesting today? Well, if we're thinking about this, we go to this recent announcement that we just got over the last couple days. XRP just got a major boost from China. Chinese fintech giant LinkLogis is putting its trillion-dollar supply chain finance platform on the XRP ledger. RWA's cross-border payments and trade finance all on the XRP ledger. Does this have anything to do with what HashKey was doing over here? I believe so. Again, we're starting to see major adoption from real world players around major industries. When we think about the supply chain, market and the industry itself, supply chain finance is so ripe for disruption. The supply chain itself is ripe for disruption through new technologies that can automate and speed up the processes. I mean, this is a huge move. And also, in terms of the actual announcement here, we have Chinese supply chain finance platform LinkLogis Inc.'s deal with XRP Ledger. They will be utilizing it for its digital supply chain finance application on the public blockchain and drive the commercial adoption of LinkLogis solution. When we look at how significant this deal is, is while LinkLogis processes large volumes of trade finance, only a small proportion, 2.5%, is cross-border, which is likely the focus of the deal. Now, I don't believe so. I think that the entire process behind LinkLogis will most likely move on to the public blockchain. The reason why I say this is because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to save money during the entire process? It's not just based around cross-border. I understand that XRP has always been, the cross-border king, but that's not the reason why we're starting to see these companies tapping into public blockchains. They're tapping in to save money, open up new revenue streams. I mean, the opportunity here is so vast, but also they want to tap into, stablecoins, traditional finance. And if we think about that, we have down here that its cross-border solution processed 4.8 billion RMB, which is equivalent to $670 million in trade finance transactions during the first 6 months of 2025. So over $1+ billion they could be moving in a single year, but this volume is unlikely to migrate en masse to the XRP ledger. Might not happen overnight, but I do think that it will happen. Supply chain finance involves the granting of credit to suppliers based on a large buyer approving the invoices, and then they do have for an example there, but the bank provides instant payment to the supplier less any deductions for financing. LinkLogis provides the platform that enables the processing of the invoices and credit as well. Now, this is a paid article. I don't really need to look into this, but I want to go over a few things. Number one, the About section on LinkLogis' website. So right off the rip, what are they aiming for? They are aiming to provide top-notch digital supply chain financing services to banks and enterprises around the world. Now that they are building this platform onto the XRP ledger, that means that they can tap in to these banks and enterprises utilizing their platform, which is based on the public XRP ledger. This is crazy to see. Now, on top of that, we look at the partners that they have. Looking at their partners, look at how crazy this is. Standard Chartered, DBS, this is a major China bank, HSBC, Global Trading Network, Trade Network Information Network. And then we also have the China International Trade Single Window. We also have the Bank of China, Hong Kong, and then Union Pay with China Pay. And then here's the industry leading capability. We have rank 3, rank 1, and also rank 3. These are all of their certifications. This is extremely bullish because, again, if we're thinking about how big these names are, how certified these names are, this all means very, very good news for this announcement. Because again, this is being built out on the XRP ledger. But also, what's crazy about this is look at the business overview. Payment and FX, digital trade, digital finance, international trade. It's not just based around supply chain finance at all. All of these markets could technically be tapped in now with link lodges. I love to see this. And also, by the way, we could see that over here. Payments and FX, digital trade, digital finance, international trade. Then you have the partners. I mean, this is a very, very exciting announcement. I don't think that people really realize the connections back to some of these names. Like, for example, even the BIS, right? They have a BIS project now, which includes link lodges and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, which, by the way, if you already know about Ripple and you already know about XRP in Hong Kong, then you know how big their names are. But this was through Project Dynamo, which is catalyzing innovation for SME growth. This is all based around non-fungible tokens, so tokenization and smart contracts for SME finance. Now, with XRP, they could easily tap into this. This could definitely be a huge piece of the puzzle now. Again, this is why when we look at the price of XRP today, we look at the performance of XRP, we look at everything happening around XRP, even Ripple, right? I know that Ripple and XRP are not the same, but Ripple has been expanding the XRP market in a huge way. I mean, all of these things are catalyst to cause XRP to surge in a much larger way. I'm extremely bullish on XRP right now. I think everyone is underestimating it. I don't think people are really prepared for what's about to hit this market for XRP. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.